All right, everybody, in this video, we are going to solve equations in Desmos. Okay, so Desmos is a free app that you can download onto your device, or you can go to desmos.com and you can go to that graphing calculator. It's super helpful. Well, I'm just going to show you how you can do that using that online calculator. Okay, so here we go. All right, guys, so here in this one, we are going to be solving equations with the help of Desmos. Okay, so Desmos is a helpful tool that can really help us to do a lot of what we do in algebra, okay? And it can help us solving equations, okay? So I'm just gonna show how it can be helpful, but one thing you have to keep in mind, okay? So let me just show you what it can do. It's pretty cool. So number one, you see negative 2x plus 8 equals 4x minus 10. Okay, so if I just type that in, exactly what it says, straight up, negative 2x plus 8 equals 4x minus 10. Okay, you see that on the graph, this purple line shows up. Okay, and you see that, and then it also highlights this little dot for us, and that's kind of saying, okay, that's where the x-intercept is, and that is saying 3 comma 0. Okay, why that is significant is that that's actually the solution. That's actually the answer to this. The answer to this problem would be x equals 3. Okay, and how great is that, right? You don't have to do any math yourself. That tells you x equals 3 by kind of putting this line. That's the actual equation of this purple line, this vertical line, x equals 3. Okay, so it gives you that when you type in the equation. Okay, and that goes for any type of equation too, no matter how complex it is, right? So look at number 2. I'm going to type that in without doing any work myself. 5x minus 3 minus 7x equals 3 plus 2 times the quantity x minus 3. Okay, and you see this line here? It's kind of hard because it's right on the y-axis there. It's purple, and you see the point 0 comma 0. Okay, and again, that's a way of saying, okay, that's my x answer. Sorry about that. That is, so my x answer here was x equals 3. And for this one, it is x equals 0. Okay, so that is, again, another way of saying the answer. Okay, so it's specifically when it gives you this coordinate, it's the whatever the x coordinate is, because the y coordinate is always going to be 0, but it's whatever the x coordinate is, and this one just happens to be 0 as well. So that's another way of saying if you solve this all out, you get 0 as an answer for x. Okay, I'll just do the rest of them here on this page just to continue. Number 3, 3x minus 9 times x minus 2 equals 18x. Okay, and so you see this line right here, and again it highlights 0.75 comma 0, and so that, as you guessed, would be my x answer. X equals 0.75. That's the same as 3/4, right? So decimal for that one, that's all right. Number 4, keep it going. Number 4, 3x plus 4 equals 4 times 2x minus 8 as a group, and you see there the answer 7.2 comma 0. Okay, so x equals 7.2. Okay, how nice is that? Okay, it gives you the answer right away. All right, 2 more here on this page. Number 5, so you see this fraction, and a lot of kids have trouble with, how do I type the fraction in Desmos? And again, remember, fraction that's saying, on number 5, that's saying 2/3, or 2 divided by 3. So 2 divided by, you can press this divided by button right here, and you see it makes it a fraction, 2 divided by 3. Just make sure you move the cursor away from the fraction, because if I kept typing down here, 2/3 x minus 4 equals 6, you see that it keeps typing it on the bottom, and you see it turns it into a crazy graph there. So I don't want that. I want the rest of it to be away from the fractions. Just move the cursor to the right. You can use the right arrow, or if you're using a keyboard, yeah, the right arrow on that too. So 2/3 x minus 4 equals 6. Okay, and you might be saying, what the heck, where's my line? Just zoom out. Sometimes it can be a bigger number than 10 or negative 10. And yeah, you see here it's 15. And it's really nice that Desmos highlights that dot for you where it intersects. So x equals 15 would be my answer to that one. And then lastly, you see number 6. It's got some decimals in there, but that is no problem for Desmos. It can handle it. 3.2x minus 4.7 equals 3 times the group 2.1x plus 4.3. Okay, again, just like any other problem, even though there's these crazy decimals, this would be a really tricky one to do by hand. But you see, you get 5.677 comma 0. Okay, so you can just type in x equals negative 5.677. So there you go. Okay, technically I didn't follow my directions here. I said round to nearest hundredth, so that would technically be 5.68, but whatever. Okay, so that is it too. And let's actually do one or two more of these. But again, I'm going to give you a little disclaimer here, so don't get too excited about how easy this is just yet. Okay, if I was to type in a proportion, okay, this is tricky because look, if I try to type in 3x minus 2, right, and I said press the divided by button for division, so 3x minus 2 divided by 4, look, it does not include the whole thing as part of a fraction, which is unfortunate. So what you have to remember to do for these is put that, when there's a group in the numerator, put that in parentheses. Otherwise, Desmos does not know to include both of those on the top of the fraction. So you have to put that in the parentheses. And then you press divided by 4. Okay? And again, move your cursor out of the fraction now, and then press equals, and then you type in parenthesis x plus 5, because those are both on the top. And then you press divided by, and then 2. And again, that's a proportion, so that would be cross multiplying, a lot of work. But it tells you it's 12, x equals 12. So there you go. And then 8 would be similar. Okay. Let me show you what would happen. These are the ones 10, 11, or on the worksheet here. 9, 10, and 11 would be the special cases. Okay. So let me show what that would look like when there's one that doesn't have one solution. Okay. So if I did number 9, for example, 9 says 2x minus 6 equals 2 times the group x minus 3. Okay, it says it's showing a line, but I'm zooming out, I'm zooming out, I'm zooming out, all the way into the millions here. I see nothing, okay? And that can be tricky, that can be confusing. If you would solve this, right, if you would solve this out, and I'm going to go back to my normal. If you ever get super zoomed out like that, and you can't get back to normal, or if your graph's like way zoomed out, just press the home button to get back to normal. But if I had solved this out, 2x minus 6, I distributed this 2 to this right side, that would be 2x minus 6. So it would be the exact same thing on both sides. So this would actually be all real numbers, or every possible solution. So if it could, it would be graphing every single line. Every single x value could be an answer. So like the whole graph would be one big black blob. But it's not showing that. So that's a reason why you can't always look at Desmos and it tells you the exact answer, because these special cases, it might not display that for you. Okay, so you have to know that yourself. And then I think number 10 is a normal one, but if I type in number 11 for x plus 6 minus 6x equals negative 2 times x plus 4. Same thing, same thing. You can zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, and it's not going to show you anything, okay? So, again, and you wouldn't know the difference, right? You wouldn't know the difference if it was all real numbers or no solution, okay? So again, that is where you still have to know your stuff. You can't just rely on Desmos for it, okay? So this is no solution. I know that because if you solve this out, you'd end up getting 2 different numbers and all the x's canceling out. So that's no solution. Okay. Now, so that's, but why Desmos can be helpful is it can solve a lot of these normal one solution equations for you. It can give you the answer. Okay. So what it is, it's an awesome tool to check your work. Okay. You can use it to check your work to make sure your answer is correct. But here's the downside. Okay, not only is the downside it doesn't do these special ones for you, okay, This Desmos calculator is not the version of the Desmos calculator that you would use in the state of Virginia. We take the SOL test, and we're given this Desmos calculator to use, but we don't use just this standard one. We use what's called test mode, okay, in Desmos. And so what that is, I have that up here, okay, and it's this desmos.com/practice to get the test mode, and this is what you'll actually be given on the SOL, this mode, okay? And one thing that they did in the test mode is, like if I try to type in that number 1, negative 2x plus 8 equals 4x minus 10, you notice it does not show the line at x equals 3. It instead pops up this exclamation point. Plotting single variable implicit equations is disabled. Again, it's telling you, I'm not going to do that for it. It's disabled, okay? And then, again, that's because the test mode, they know that they can just tell you the answer if you type it in. And so, yeah, on the SOL or any state test, if it's like Virginia, then you're not going to be able to use the Desmos for solving equations like this, okay? So, just a disclaimer there that I know looking at this as a student, if I was, 14, 15-year-old student looking at this, I'd be like, oh, nice, Desmos can do it all for me. I don't have to learn anything. Not true. You should still learn how to solve an equation, not only because it's really valuable and it's going to be essential for you in your math career from here on out, and it teaches you a valuable how to think logically and all that stuff, but you're not going to be able to use it on the SOL, okay, or on any state test. So, yeah, don't only rely on it. But again, I am telling you, it's really helpful to check your answers. It's there as a resource for you. But again, it doesn't get you out of having to learn the process of solving an equation, okay? So that is it. That's what Desmos can do for you in terms of solving linear equations. And yeah, I hope that's helpful. Thanks.